Hi, everyone, and welcome to Glen Allen High School. I'm your Director of Student Activities, Michael John Christopher. I'm here to bring you information pertaining to the fall sports events and have a little parent meeting virtually to let you know what's going on. Again, my contact information is on the screen. My name is Michael John Christopher. There's my email, phone number. You'll need to follow my Twitter handle to keep up with things. And then, of course, the website that's Glen Allen High School's rteams.com. That'll give you all the information, activities, physicals, and things that are coming on that we'll cover later. The agenda tonight is to give you an introduction of myself, a little bit about our Boosters Club, the JAA, the athletic trainer, what his role is, COVID-19 guidelines, concussions, eligibility, scheduling and how it's done, communication protocols, the protocols for drug and alcohol policy, what we expect of sportsmanship, and how to effectively use social media with your student athletes. These are the athletic programs that Glen Allen High School offers. Of course, at Glen Allen, we're a great place, a wonderful place that we offer every sporting event that you could kind of want in teams. So we have the full gamut of all sports and activities here at Glen Allen. So please, I encourage you all to get involved as best you can with any of these events or activities. Our administration team is as followed. We're led by our leader, Mr. Davenport, our principal. The associate principal is Matthew Bedke. Our new assistant principal is Adrian Harris. Another assistant principal that's returning with us is Leah Wiedenhoff. Another assistant along with that is Miss Barbara Bonner. And then, of course, the head of our NCAA eligibility questions for moving on to the postseason is Miss Abigail Allen in our school counseling department. We're going to move on now to our next slide. Is our next topic is the Glen Allen Athletic Association. It's called our JAA. We function as the Boosters Club. We support all teams, and there's a lot of fundraising opportunities that'll come that you'll get in connecting messages through the community. Who the JAA is, their mission statement: the Jaguar Athletic Association is a nonprofit organization whose purpose is to promote enthusiastic interest in the Glen Allen High School athletic programs. The organization shall assist the athletic program of the school by providing financial, advisory, and volunteer support. We shall cooperate and work in conjunction with those in charge of the athletic program at Glen Allen High School, the school administration, and the Henrico County School Board. The purpose of the JAA is the Jaguar Athletic Association exists as an organization of the parents and the community persons dedicated to supporting, encouraging, and advancing the athletic program at Glen Allen High School, thereby encouraging and recognizing high athletic and academic achievement, sportsmanship, and character, contributing to the morale, spirit, and enthusiasm of the students and providing the community a means for positive involvement with the school. The association shall promote projects to improve facilities and equipment necessary to provide an adequate athletic program for the school. Our board this year for the 2021-2022 school year: our president, Miss Emily Fagan; vice president, Christy Cochran; secretary, Shelley Flowers; treasurer, Susan Fellon; parliamentarian, Chris Horn; advertising and marketing, Aggie Bergman; concession, Christy Cochran; hospitality, Daniel Harris; membership, Chris Horn; spiritwear, Marcia Mosley; sports programs is open, ways and means, Katie Moss and Danielle Harris; websites and communications, Amy Bergman; and then, of course, your activity director, Michael John Christoforo, and also involved with that will be our principal that overhears it and oversees it as well because he's affiliated with the school. In 2020 and 2021, during the COVID year, you'll see the expenses that the Boosters Club has graciously taken on to help assist with our athletic programs. They contributed to approximately $766.45 for athletic awards. They cover our Impact Concussion Program of $655 to monitor the health of the athletes. They cover fall, winter, and spring startup, which is uniforms, soccer balls, cones, anything that I have to come as an expense that coaches need as a necessity item that we can't cover. They covered helmets at a dire time during the COVID when we had the 8th graders step up and we needed a lot of helmets, so that was graciously good that we had that backup. They paid for the Huddle account, which gets our kids marketing online through the programs and uses the software to get them to the next level of athletics. They cover all medical supplies through our ATC. And then they do the winter sports recognition, which was great during the pandemic. They took that on and recognized all of our winter sports since the season was shut down. All this was taken care of in the COVID year because of the great volunteers, the board that was mentioned on the earlier slide, that made things happen here at Glen Allen High School, even during the pandemic. And we appreciate it. The next thing that we need that was going to be our lead into is the membership. So we have membership levels that'll come to you in the email, and you'll get them, and you should have already received them in the know from Mr. Davenport. We expect to try to get everybody to do at least a $30 joining, which gets you a decal for your vehicle. And then, of course, you do the punch card, which is a 20-game punch card that you get. Once that runs out, you can get another one, and you can utilize those across your family, depending on how many events you get. Then the family of 2 is 2 sports passes, 2 car decals, and then an entrance into all regular season home athletic events with no wait at the pass gate of football games. The rest of them are self-explanatory. The cost goes up. You have a family of 4 and then a family of 6. The big thing to pick out of the family of 6 is you get the auction off the raffle tickets for the JA social event and auction. So if you go with the family of 6, you will get 2 tickets that are in for a raffle that you'll end up winning and not have to pay for tickets to come to our spring social event once that's planned and set amongst the COVID protocol. Again, this is crucial. These are very important things that you need to understand about the Boosters Club. It's how we generate funds, but it also, every ticket that comes to a home event is $6 to $8. So if you come to everyone, for example, we have 7 home football games, do that math, you're almost pretty much halfway there to paying for it if you pay for a family of 4 to come in for 3 of those games. And then you're in for the rest of the stuff throughout the rest of the season. So please, I encourage you to jump on board, do the punch cards, do whatever membership you can, and get involved with the JAA and support us at least for the bare minimum of $30 to get through these years in the finances. Again, thank you for the support. You can go online to the glenallenjaguars.com, which I will give you in the newsletter that'll be out there for you to sign up and get. Some corporate sponsors are available there. You can also volunteer to work concessions. This is a huge one. And other things that arise during concessions, reach out to the president, reach out to the website, to the contacts, because it takes a village. It takes everyone on board to make things happen here at Glen Allen High School. And I know there's parents out there that are willing to help. So please, once again, you can see the email at the bottom of this, jaajaguars@gmail.com. If you're interested in helping, want to attend the meetings, they're posted online. Come on in. We need some spots, as you saw, that are vacant, and some people are rolling double roles just to make this happen. So please come on, join the Jaguars. Next is our athletic training information. We have our ATC, Aaron Miller, who does a fabulous job. We're partnered with Tuckahoe Orthopedics. So there's team doctors at facilities with a direct connection to Tuckahoe if there's an injury. I would strongly encourage you that if your child is seeking any type of injuries or having some type of issue, please reach out to Aaron. His email is listed there, and he'll be glad to help you. He does wonderful things for us and keeps our athletes healthy and ready to roll during these seasons. The next key important to keep in mind is if there's some time throughout your life of Glen Allen Jaguar history, we have what's called K&K insurance. Basically, you have to have insurance approved on the physical. All y'all had the physical forms, and you had to supply us with your medical information for your son or daughter. What needs to be coming on with that is if you cannot afford that for some reason, a job changes and things happen, you know, everything happens in weird ways, and you need to get bridged coverage for your child. Your child is offered this through the student insurance through K&K. It's just a bridging umbrella that covers your child for a low cost, so there's not any issues on the field. Again, if you need this, you can always email me and reach out for any questions, and I could share it with you or reach out to your coaching staff. Concussions, we use impact concussions testing. Basically, all student athletes will take a baseline test with the athletic trainer at practice. That will be stored their baseline testing, and then we'll advance forward. If they end up getting hit in the head and need some type of evaluations, we match that up. Again, there's online courses that are free for you as a parent and the athletes to learn more about concussions, because they're becoming a serious thing that we don't take lightly here in the athletic programs. Mandatory forms for athletics and events when you need to do them. They're the academic as well. So if you're going to do forensics, you're going to do debate, things like that, you're going to need to have some of your information in and possible physicals on file. Definitely any type of athletic sports that you listed on that sheet that were activities here will need the concussion form, the student activities contract, and the VHSL physical. Again, those are all located on the R Schools team site that you'll see later in a slide that you can access as a one-stop shop to print everything and get them prepared. The next thing that everyone's been waiting for is the COVID-19 participant changes. So this is going to be changing very rapidly, as we have sensed in the community. I think in the last week, that's why there was a delay of this video coming out and being created, because every week it has changed since I've been back since August 1. Anytime you turn on the TV, there's a lot of changes and a lot of increases. So what we're asking you is to jump on board and follow what the rules are, because we are government property and we're fed by the government. So we need to make sure that we're following the adequate protocol and doing what is necessary. You need to have a social distance as best we can per mandates. The families can sit together at one location unmasked. If you're within 3 feet, again, you'll hear me repeat this. As long as there's 3 feet of distance, you can remove your mask outside. Inside, there's no question. We're back to the way it was last fall. Everyone's masked up except for the participants on the court if they choose to remove them. Volleyball is staying masked during out the games, but that's a team decision, and that's what they decide, and it worked well from us last year, so we're sticking to it. So attendees and spectators for indoor and outdoor games. Senior nights, they will be selected by the coaches. Some of them are electing to go in the beginning of October. Some of them will go later. Again, that's up by the coaches and what they do. So the parent reps that are with them and things, just talk with your coaches to figure it out. Mask wars indoor is highly encouraged outdoor unless social distancing that I said prior. We will have hand sanitizers and PPE available at all sites when you come into the events. If you don't see it out, that's because we ran out. Please ask. All the ticket sellers and staff will know where to go to find it. Okay. HCPS follows all hosting site protocols. So when we travel to Hanover, Chesterfield, Hopewell, anywhere that we go and travel to play these games this season, whatever is in state by that county supersedes what we are doing. Again, you can always go above, and it's highly encouraged that if their rules are less than what ours are, that we highly encourage to stay with Henrico County's rules. That'll be never inflected and wrong by us to do. The next piece is on the buses. A lot of parents at the scrimmages that were walking by wanted to know what's going on. I think the coaches should have communicated this already, but there's basically seating charts. So when they travel on buses and they're indoors, athletes are not participating in exercise or competition, the masks need to be worn. They will be assigned seats on the buses, and attendance will be taken each day at practice to help facilitate contact tracing with QR codes. And then some coaches are doing handwritten attendance on the way that they prefer to do it. There is to be no food or drink shared by athletes, and clothing needs to make sure to be washed each day after practices. So again, we try to minimize the sharing of food as best we can. I know certain teams will have team meals. We encourage, if you're doing the team meals, to follow all safety preparation things. We will do the best we can to have packaged lunches individually for box lunches and things like that, or meals. Or there has to be parents that are all washed up, maxed up, and following COVID protocol that would be handling food and pushing it out. We are discouraging any type of potluck situations. Some mask requirements at this point by the health committee. Again, to reiterate, athletes secondary 6 through 12 are told masks are worn except for performance and competitions. Spectators, social distance of 3 feet and mask worn, and sit on the assigned GA spots on our complex or the spots at other complexes when you show up. Outdoor athletes, secondary, which is 6 through 12, mask worn except during the performance and competitions as well. Spectators, again, stay at the 3 feet, and they can be removed once socially distanced outdoors. So that is the big change. Outdoors, they can be removed. Indoors, once again, they cannot be removed. So that's where we stand for our COVID protocol, and I appreciate all the patience you can as we move through this. Once again, the changes. So again, when you come to the gates, you might be reminded and things might change, but they are changing rapidly. So please follow along with us and abide by them as best you can. And I highly encourage everyone to follow them to stay safe. Eligibility rules for athletes all year long, but especially for the fall. There's 2 parts to it. There's a VHSL component and a Henrico County component. The VHSL component is take 5, pass 5. You must take at least 5 courses during your semester prior for the students that would have been semester 2 last year, and then pass 5 of those classes. So you need to be enrolled in 5 and take 5, and you are fine moving forward. The biggest key that you want to make sure is online courses, if you're signing up for them, is to make sure with Miss Allen or your school counselors up front that your student is registered for, that you follow all rules for NCAA accredited courses. If they're not accredited by the NCAA, the chances are they're not going to count for eligibility. There is waivers and information that is there for you to sign all over sheets whenever you sign up for the classes that are be taking online. Henrico County, we have what's called the 2.0 grade point requirement. It's a one-time waiver available in the 8 semesters that a student enrolls in high school. Once they come in their freshman year, they have 2 years of 2 semesters per year. So when they're here for 4 years, that's where we get 8. Basically, they have to acquire a 2.0 overall cumulative weighted grade point average or the prior semester. So it goes back to the semester right now for fall athletes would be semester 2 that closed out. And we do the old mathematical equation. If they're over a 2.0 for that, then they are good, even though overall they might have a 1.8. So that's something to keep in mind. When that happens, it requires a meeting of the principal, the DSA, and the parent and the athlete to make sure that all the paperwork is signed and everything is verified. Again, this is an option that's through HCPS requirement, not the VHSL. Again, everything is checked at the beginning. You should have been notified already if your student needs to have a 2.0 waiver if they're an athlete, and you need to make sure that that paperwork comes back and gets processed. Scheduling, this one's going to get tricky, and we're just going to air that we're going to do the highly encouraged protocol when nothing comes up and we just stay the course and rain goes away because we got the turf fields, keep the lightning away, we're okay, and we move through this. But basically, practices are set by coaches during the facility availability. If school is closed due to weather or some other circumstances, then there is no practice. That will be communicated via Twitter, via social media outlets by the coaches that they're using to make sure that their athletes are aware. You can practice Monday through Saturday, but absolutely no Sunday practices. Right now, you could also have conditioning for out-of-season teams that are coming no more than 2 days a week. So they might come in Tuesday, Thursday, and use the weight room and do skill-only things to get prepared for the next upcoming season, but they make sure that we follow all the mandates, again, for indoor and outdoor. Games. We will fill all games as best we can with flexibility. We check to see if conflicting dates with holidays, and we try to avoid them. Regional tournaments are set by the region and the host sites that are available to host them. Scheduling is found, again, on the Colonial District VA.org under Glen Allen and at the team site. Again, I highly encourage you to bookmark that team site and get yourself online to notify yourself of what's going on at Glen Allen for the sports and activities your child will be participating in. Again, those activities can be senior class meetings, sophomore meetings, class ring meetings, back meetings that are going on. Anything you click on when you get to that notification label will therefore show you anytime I update something for it, whether it's athletic or any type of activity. Again, reschedules with COVID-19 and everything, we're going to make them up as quickly as possible if we are permitted. COVID-19 will make this even more challenging and might limit us to games. If it's on behalf that goes, then the league jumps in the districts and we find out that it can be a forfeit because it's not rescheduled. It will never penalize a team. So we make sure we work underneath the mandates of the VHSL and the mandates of the region to make sure it's fair and equitable and equal. Okay. Again, I just mentioned, to reiterate again, the Art School notifications. Get those notifications sent to you via text or email when changes are made to the schedule. It just makes things easier for the front office staff, so then you're not constantly calling in. Usually those adjustments are made by 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So please do not call the front office at 10 o'clock and find out if we're playing a game at 7 o'clock, because we won't know. We have the deadline of transportation to be canceled around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and as well as officials, so we don't get charged by 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's kind of what we stick to and watch the weather closely when things come up. Our alcohol, drug, and tobacco policy basically is the Henrico County policy that follows the basic guidelines. Your first offense, if you're caught with it, is a 30-day calendar suspension from the VHSL activities and extracurricular. If after you serve that 30 days, there's another incident that you come in contact or you do something with it, turns into your second offense, it gets a full year. Your third offense, you're ineligible for the VHSL activities and extracurricular activities for all 4 years of high school. So that's something very important to understand, okay? No alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. If you're caught with it, this is the boundaries that you will be served and dealt with. Sportsmanship. We highly encourage the sportsmanship. There is the parents' playbook that's out there that was created by Highland Springs, Godwin, and Glen Allen students for the VHSL. It's basically talking about how important it is to be sportsmanlike when you're out there on the fields as parents and as student athletes. All right. So how it goes, fighting is up to a 3-game, and an online sportsmanship course must be completed prior to your return to the field. Profanity towards the official is an automatically 2 games, or if not only towards the official, towards another player if you're caught, you will end up looking at 2 games from the official organizations. Leaving the bench to become involved in an altercation gives you a 2-game suspension automatically. Unsportsmanlike conduct turns into a 1-game penalty. Again, the last bullet there is very, very important. Once the league and the officials talk to myself and then the administrative team, there is possibility of consequences that the school might put on to increase it, or a coach. All coaches have individualized rules and regulations that they follow. Please make sure you read them when they're handed out to you so you understand them and get with the coaches and be aware of them so it's not a shock if somebody acts up. Our Colonial District Sportsmanship Code is what we are under. Again, we are the Colonial District, but we are also in the regional ranking of 5C. So we are a class 5C in the region, and we fall underneath the Colonial District. In accordance with the Virginia High School League, the regulations, the member schools of the Colonial District request that all participants, coaches, and spectators demonstrate good sportsmanship by always treating the visiting school and game officials as our guest, being modest in victory and gracious in defeat, respecting the judgment and integrity of the officials, not exhibiting unacceptable behaviors such as taunting, berating, using profanity, or damaging facilities or equipment. Failure to follow this code might result in your removal from the premises, and we appreciate your support of high school athletics as an integral part of our educational programs. The next component that was in our agenda is social media. Please make sure to help monitor your athletes' accounts. Again, time and time every year I talk about it when I go to conferences and go to conventions where I'm talking to these college athletics programs, that kids are getting themselves caught in situations. Scholarships have been lost. People have been removed from fields. It's just getting to be an issue that needs to be watched. There's plenty of things that we can do that are positive. Let's stick to the positive. Let's not get absorbed to the negative. Again, the National Federation of High School Sports has 2 links that I have shared here. One's for parents and coaches, and the other one's for athletes that I highly encourage you to look up and watch and visit to see as you can educate yourself on how to behave on social media. Know what your child is doing and be involved. So again, back to reviewing some COVID-19 events and practices. So when you come to the events and practices, student athletes enter through the commons entrance indoors or the ticket booth, depending on the location of the activity. Doors will be open for access to minimize contact as best we can. All surfaces are cleaned prior to the practice times by the coaching staff and the C&M staff to make sure it's safe once they come on campus. PPE is provided for teams and spectators at all times. Entrance to the sessions are through QR codes, and we will have the COVID questionnaire at times. They have removed that, but at times it might come back, so just be prepared. Those are the typical questions if you've been around, traveled, or have had signs or symptoms. During practice, this is a detailed list of what the coaches are doing, okay? They're maintaining social distance protocol per the mandate as it changes. They're organizing smaller practice groups. They're doing skill work in smaller groups or pods. All participants have masks during downtime and lower aerobic activities. They're bringing their own water bottles. However, we will supply hydration stations, and we make sure through the ATC and the student helpers that we have that after each use, if someone messes up and touches something, the surface is cleaned. Each team will be provided proper sanitation supplies at their location to clean equipment, locker stalls. Example of that would be football. When they're done, all equipment that stays is the hard equipment is hanging in the locker rooms, and the coaching staff goes through and sprays disinfectant on all of it. All clothing that is soft items, socks, shirts, shorts, you name it, are all brought home to wash and taken care of. So that's what we're doing there. We're also tracking all athletes with the location when they come on campus for the contact tracing if we have an issue. And that's done through attendance. If a piece of equipment is needed to share, it will be sanitized prior to sharing. So once they switch that piece of equipment, it'll be on a rotation. Usually we have 2 or 3 pieces in depth, 2 that are sanitized, 1 that is ready. For example, that might be the balls, things like that are examples of that. We're going to minimize locker room traffic as needed. Smaller groups, dress as quickly as possible, make sure they're masked up inside, get their hands and equipment taken care of and wash them, and then have minimal social isolation in and around the activities. During games, what are we doing and how are we working on things? Students will be socially distanced on the sideline, wearing masks as best they can with the COVID protocol. So they will be at least 3 feet apart. They will be spaced away as best they can, and they will take care of things on that. During non-aerobic activity, sideline and benches will be there, and then some students that have masks will bring a bag that you might see that they keep their masks in as they run in and out of the fields for activities. All athletes will have a spacing by chairs, cones, or other method to maintain the distance on the sidelines. And again, all gear will be placed on the track outside the playing surface in possible individual trash bags. Outdoor benches will be at least 6 feet. That has been reduced anywhere to 3 feet now. So we'll stay in between that 3 to 6 feet. Indoor, the team's chairs are socially distanced as we were last night at the volleyball games and you've seen at the scrimmages. They keep that 3 to 6 feet distance for all athletes. And when they're sitting there waiting to play the game, their masks are on. At the completion of the games of practice, we're going to clean everything, sanitize it, clean all equipment, cones, balls, jerseys, gear, clean the gym between events of JV and varsity. So there might be times that we do that. We will move them out if the crowds get to be too large, that we have a safety. And remember to take all clothes home and wash them. And athletes are encouraged and reminded daily to wash our hands. The next important piece of this puzzle is, of course, communication protocols. So again, I highly encourage you to follow these. It makes everything go well because again, if you jump out of this line, the person above doesn't know why the coaches have made the decisions that they've made. So please have the first level as the athlete to coach. If you're not happy with that and you get the answer from your child, then please reach out to the athlete. Then the parent and the coach comes on board to discuss the situations. The third step is the athlete, parent to coach, and then brings myself in as the DSA. If we can't get things solved like that, then we bring in the principal or an administrative team to help navigate the situations that come up. Again, I encourage you, it's highly encouraged to follow the protocol. Please stay in the channels that we can. All my coaches know that. They're very receptive. They're very respectful. And I think they will give you the answers you need of what we're doing here at Glen Allen High School and what their visions are. Again, thank you for watching, attending this evening. We look forward to seeing you at these games. The one last piece that I'll leave you that I want to make sure that we're encouraged is when we're getting these things going, we're out there as the activities. We're going to support these student athletes as best we can. When we're at the concession stand, make sure we're out there and we're socially distanced, not hanging around in groups, because we're going to have to separate that outside or inside, and then make sure that we're following all these rules as best we can so we don't have to shut these things down. If you have any further questions, please reach out to me. My email is on that first slide. This will be available to you with all the information. And I'm looking forward to another great season like we had last year by all the cooperation as the Jaguar Nation did to have a great, successful athletic programs and school year. Thank you.